ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
36 विज्ञान हेतुर्मननमन्वय व्यतिरेकभाक् श्रद्धा मनन हेतु स्यादागमाचार्य वाक्ययोः Satya Swarupa Atma should be known. What are the means, upayas for that? They were enumerated: Vijnana, Shraddha, Nishtha, Kritihi, Sukham. What are these? One by one are being now explained. We have seen Vijnana, Atma Sakshatkara, Manana, so Shravana, afterwards that manana, that reflection over that and constant thinking of that, that is the cause of Vijnana. Cause of manana, the means for manana is Shraddha. Shraddha in Agama, Acharya, Vakya. What is the cause of Shraddha? And the Shraddha be developed. Let us see now. Shraddhaya karanam nishtha sada sushushrushadam hi sa.
Shraddhaya karanam nishtha sada sushushadam hi sa.
Chittaikagrya kritiryasau nisthaya karanam bhavet.
Chittaikagrya kritiryasau
Anvaya sada shushrushanam nishtha sahi shraddhayaha karanam ya asau yasau ya, then take chittaikagrya kritihi, sandhi breaking, chittaikagrya kritihi ya asau, anvaya ya chittaikagrya kritihi asau nishthayaha karanam bhavet. Nishthayaha karanam bhavet. What is Shraddha? What is Nishtha now? Which is the cause of Shraddha, a means of Shraddha. So if you want to develop Shraddha, what you have to take to the Nishtha. Nishtha is commitment. What type of commitment? Sada Shushrushanam Nishtha. Shushrushanam or Shushrusha. Shushrusha or Shushrushanam is the desire to serve and desire to listen, take to inquiry, Shravana. Shrotum Ichha Shushrusha, Sevitum Ichha Shushrusha. So, that desire to serve, desire to listen means exposed to Shravana, inquiry about Atma Swarupa from a competent master. So, that is what Shushrushanam here is. Guru Shushrushanam, service to the master. Again, desire to listen or expose to Shravana from a master. That is what Shushrushanam. That commitment must be there. Shushrushanam, Sada, that also Sada Shushrushanam. Sada, not one Saptaha. Camp at Ramnathi. So, or Mahabaleshwar. Sada, that is the lifestyle. So, that should be there. Again, Shravana, how long? Asutehe, Amrutehe. daily until you sleep, not in the class, okay? So, until you sleep. And amrutehe, okay, until you sleep, 7 days we will do. No. Amrutehe, up to the point of death. One clause is there, exceptional clause is there. In between, you have already got the aparoksha jnana. Hats off unto you. You need not take to Shravana any further. So that is there. So knowledge is gained. Afterward, once you cross the river, boat is not required. Once you have reached the destination, vehicle is not required. So that you in between, amrutehe, up to the point of death. But in between, you have already got the knowledge. Okay, you have reached the destination, you have the goal. There is no need of the sadhana. Otherwise, asuptehe, amrutehe, that should be the purpose. Not part-time pursuit of Vedanta. Swamiji, if that is the case, what about other things? What about other things in life? Determine your priorities. Realize the importance of human embodiment. See, anything precious that comes just like that, we lose the value. But if we have to sweat and toil to get something, something great, likewise, we take for granted the human embodiment. Do you know what worth this human embodiment is? Even the devas, the denizens in the heavens are aspiring to have the human body. It is not possible. Why so? Because this is the only embodiment in the entire creation of 84 lakhs of species which is endowed with the faculty of gaining the Atma Jnana. Not even the heavenly denizens, except few presiding deities, Adhisthana Devatas like Indra, Varuna, Yama, etc. They are only few. So those who are the office bearers, as it were. Otherwise, the common folks, the denizens in the heaven who have got better and higher standard of living compared to us, and relatively no sorrows compared to us, even they are not, and Pitrus, etc., all they are not endowed with the faculty of gaining the knowledge of Atma Sarupa. Why? That buddhi, the buddhi is the special prerogative of human being which has got the capacity to gain the knowledge. That's why I say the clarity of Atma Jnana is in the human embodiment with one exception, that is Brahma Loka. In the Brahma Loka, it is still more clear, but to get Brahma Loka is very, very difficult. Shankaracharya at one place he says, better gain Atma Jnana here, don't run after the Brahma Loka. Why? Because it's very difficult, and the specific pursuit of sadhanas in terms of karmas and upasanas have to be taken to, which in Kali Yuga is very difficult, it's not possible at all. And while taking to, if you commit mistake, the card will be punched in debit side. Okay? Not that way. So that is that if you do something properly, you will get, but if you commit mistake, adverse effects also are there. It is difficult. Atma Jnana is not so. In Atma Jnana, your efforts get carried forward. Even if it has not fructified in this embodiment, faithfully the efforts are carried forward, nothing is going to get lost. That's why it is said, Jantunam Narajanma Durlabham. Among all the species of human living beings, human embodiment is very difficult to get. If predominant punya is there, you will have heavenly embodiment. If predominant papa is there, you will get the hellish, and hellish means suffering, and animal embodiment. If there is some sort of balance between the two, then comes the human embodiment. And having been born as human being, for this purpose, which is designed to gain the knowledge, if we have not made use of it properly to gain the knowledge, there can't be any greater fool than us. That's why Kenopadishad gives warning. Iha cheda vedit atha satyam asti. Right now here in this human embodiment you have got the knowledge of Atma Sarupa, your Sarupa, Jagat Sarupa, Bhagavad Sarupa, both all are one and the same. The truth about you, the truth about Bhagavan, truth about the Jagat is one and the same, Sarvavyapi, Chaitanya. If you get here, Atha Satyam Asti, well done, Shabbas. Nachediha Vedit, if you have not got this knowledge before the body falls, Mahati Vinashti. The loss, the destruction that is there is what? Mahati, colossal, indescribable. Warning is given. So that is how it is. So that's why, so we say duties, 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 duties. Certainly Shastra itself says everyone has to discharge the duty. But Shastra also warns you, you being born as human being, you have got a duty towards yourself also. In fact, all other duties to be discharged for what? So that means to have a clear conscience. I have done what needs to be done. What is going to happen is going to happen. It is beyond my hand. If I don't discharge the duties, what happens? Then the guilt is there. This was expected of me. I have not done. That guilt cannot make the person take to this inquiry. So therefore, discharge the duty to the best of the effort. Not that what happens. No. You will be able to control everything, etc. What needs to be done in the context, do it, forget it. Otherwise, duties will not end even if you have got great grandchildren. You have to do babysitting there. Okay? So that is the duty. No, duty how long? The day you have seen the face of the grandson or grandchild, you are exempted from duty. Because children have to take care. Nowadays, what is it? These fellows also want the daughter-in-law to earn and there is no one to take care of the grandchildren and the duty continues. These fellows go to America, no? They want parents from here, not for love for parents, to do babysitting there as such. Because $1 is 50 rupees. This is Indian mentality, They apply the conversion rate and udar, so $1,000, 50,000 rupees per month, papre. For practical purpose, I will see what is the people who have stayed there have told. For practical purpose, the conversion rate must be about 3-4 rupees per dollar. What 3-4 rupees can purchase here, there $1 will purchase. Not what 50 rupees can purchase $1, no. For Vyavahara, it is only 3-4 rupees here equivalent to 1 rupee. So, $1,000 the fellow is earning. How much? 3,000 or 4,000. Chaprasi gets better. So in India, in Bombay with a DA hike, the peon will get better salary than $1,000 there in America. But the craze there, that is what it is. Anyway, so what is important is the human embodiment, the duties. Certainly duties have to be discharged. There is a limit up to which it is to be done. Certainly duty towards one's also has to be taken into account. Because if that slips off the hand, you know what happens? When the next human embodiment is going to come, only Bhagavan knows. And suppose when it comes, whether the environment is conducive to this pursuit, anybody's guess. Kali Yuga might have had advanced. The moment you take the name of Bhagavad Gita or Upanishad, you may get rotten eggs also. There may not be anyone to teach properly. So that is how it is. So when the opportunities are there, so make best use of it. And from that standpoint say, so that the Shraddha has to be developed. See, Shastra, Vedas, Upanishad, who have given? You know what is this? Ishwarokti it is. That is why I say, even if you don't know head or tail of the meaning of the Vedic mantras, etc., silly you listen. What happens, you get punya. Why? Utterance of who? Ishvara. That is the greatness of Ishwar. So that is the Veda. And those Vedas say this is your duty. Otherwise what? Mahati vinashti. Shraddha must be there. These are not the statements of our political leaders or the mass media who are after all name, fame and money as such, out of compassion. For example, Vyasa, what had to get from this world? Krishna, what had to accomplish from this world? Full and complete. Their very life itself is a blessing for humanity, nothing for themselves. For example, Satya Sai Baba. What he has to get from this world? You know, his even food, how much he is eating? According to doctors, medical science, taking into account the work that he does, he needs minimum 2000 calories at this age of 75. You know how much he eats? This was noted by an eminent cardiovascular surgeon from Southern California, Dr. Chaudhary. What Chaudhary it is? Toleti. Who is that? Valeti. Okay, here is Toleti one. He is Valeti Chaudhary. See, Toleti Dakshinamurti. Okay. He is Valeti Chaudhary. Andhra. He was Andhra. He says, Swami, I hear at Kodaikanal, he found it. It is not even 200 calories. Actually, there he eats little rice, etc. for namesake. But Puttaparthi, no, the ragi is there, no? Ragi ka malt ka ball and little groundnut chutney. That's all that is good. And you should see that. After 9:15 in the morning Arati, he goes to the dining hall. Within 2.5 minutes, he is out. See, he has to wash the hand, he has to sit, eat, munch, gulp, wash the mouth, and then come out. 2.5 hours. So what he has to get? In fact, he asked him, Swami, we are eating breakfast, then what? Lunch, then some crunches, then dinner, and still what? We feel like eating more. How do you manage? You know what he said? You are deriving the energy from the Panchamahabhutas. Food, Anna means what? Panchamahabhutas. I am the one from whom Panchamahabhutas derive the energy. Now this person who has nothing to get from the world, even food also he can manage without that. In fact, when he was the age of 30, he had left for 1 month or so. Then devotee said, oh, then he started taking buttermilk. Okay. For the sake of that, so that otherwise they will say he doesn't eat, etc., etc. That also he may not need. Now such a person, if he says something, is it for one's own selfishness or for one's own end or something? It is for what? For the good of humanity. The life itself is for the good of humanity. Such persons like Shankaracharya, Vyasa, all these avatars, Krishna, etc. say we should have Shraddha in their statement. Why? Out of love they are telling that, like more than the love of thousands of mothers, because the love of the mother is something great for the child as such. But this is not ordinary the love of any mother as such, the love of the thousands of mothers. Shankaracharya says, Shruti, Vedas, Upanishad, who have the love of thousands of mothers, if they say we should have that common sense to accept it, though we have not discovered, and take the proper means to discover. That is what Shraddha. So how it can be developed? Like Shushrushanam, etc. He says, Sahi, that Shraddha, that Nishtha, not Sa. Sa stands for Nishtha. That Nishtha, so as which was Sada Shushrushanam, it was defined. Shraddhayaha Karanam. It is the cause, the means of Shraddha. You can develop Shraddha that way. Then how Nishtha can be developed? The Guru Shushrushanam, either in terms of service or in terms of, and also in terms of Shravana. That is told in the next sentence. Ya chittaikagra kritihi. Kritihi is what? What is that kritihi? Chittaikagra kritihi means chittaikagra karanam. That means it is actually, it is indriya sanyamana, mastery over the indriyas, jnanendriyas and karmendriyas. So that is what is that. So kritihi means Indriya Sanyama, which leads to Chittaikagra. Indriya Sanyama, Chittaikagrata Karanam. Karana, cause, the means of single pointedness of the mind having withdrawn from all other pursuits. So, ya asau Chittaikagra kritihi, that kriti is what? Nishthayaha Karanam. So, if you want to develop nishtha to gain shraddha, what you should do? You should develop the chitta ekagra kriti, means indriya sanyamana. So, have the mastery over the sense organs and organs of action. Today, our indriyas, our plight is like Dasharatha. You know Dasharatha? You know Dasharatha? Who is Dasharatha? Rama's father. Why is called Dasharatha? How many wives he had? 3. That's okay. But otherwise, Dasharatha means, so, 10 organs, Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas. Everyone likes, see, a person who has got many wives, what happens? See in the craze of Krishna, okay? Krishna only can do that, nobody else knows. Krishna can keep all wives happy. Some Christian missionaries, they have no sense. They are criticizing, you are Krishna, you are telling God, so many wives. Such questions should be what? Answered in that tone only. Yes, because of that only he is God. Because he could keep all the wives happy. You keep 2 wives and keep both of them happy, let us see. so let us see, can you do that? So it was, if they say, Tam prati shathyam kuryat, so you should, for a sober and a nice person, you should what? Handle it nicely. But if such this thing, crooked things are there, the crooked fellow has to be handled in a crooked manner only. Anyway, so therefore he says here, so like Dasharatha, 10 indriyas pulling the individual in all directions. Is it not so? Eyes want to see beautiful things. The ear wants to hear melodious things. Like that it goes on. What is the final outcome? Mind is in a state of volcano. Is it not? Such a mind, what can it take to Guru Shushrusha or the Shravana, etc. What Shraddha, how Shraddha, etc. Ye to pichli baat hai. Olden days, these fellows had nothing to do, no TV, nothing. They had no means of entertainment. These fellows used to listen something, etc. Nowadays, what is that, sir? Shraddha kidhar hai? Attractions, etc. So therefore, Indriya Sanyamana. Indriya Sanyamana leads to the composure of the mind. When the composure of the mind is there, that very peace, what does it do? You are not bothered about the Vishayas. Why you sense objects? Why you run after? To have some joy, is it not? When the mind is composed, serene, you have no value for the Vishayas. So therefore, Indriya Sanyamana, based on proper understanding, based on the necessities, not simply by force. Simply by force in the beginning required, but it needs to be supplemented by proper understanding. Otherwise, what will happen? It will boomerang afterwards. So therefore, with the due understanding, Viveka Vairagya, so that is what? Indriya Sanyama Ichitta Ekagrata Karanam. That is because of which Nishtha can be developed. Now, how this Indriya Sanyama can be developed? Because always the sense organs and organs of actions gravitate towards their corresponding Vishayas. Is not how it can be? It is difficult. Yes, it can be developed this way. The means for that is Sukhamasti dhir muktau krutes tasya prayojika.
Sukhamasti dhir muktau krutes tasya prayojika.
Tadvihino mayamadyirno chittaikagram karotihi.
Tadvihino mayamadyirno chittaikagram karotihi.
Muktau, dhihi muktau, dhir muktau. Muktau, sukham asti iti dhi asyaha Krutehe prayojika. asyaha kritehi prayojika tad vihinaha ayam adyaihi chittaikagram no na u becomes no karoti hi. No karoti hi. Muktau sukham asti iti dhihi. Dhihi means, buddhi means knowledge. You see, dhi means intellect. Knowledge also is called as what? Dhihi. Both ways. You have to see the context. Buddhi also at times, buddhi used, it doesn't mean intellect, it means knowledge. What you get through the buddhi, but you have to see the context. Here, dhi means knowledge. What knowledge? He says, Mukta sukham asti. In mukti, moksha, there is sukha. What sukha? Bhuma sukha. Not Vishaya sukha. What sukha? Bhuma sukha. Otherwise called as Brahmananda. Ananda, that is the swarup of Brahma, that is the swarup of I, me. See, in sleep, are you happy or sorrowful? Happy. On account of what you get that happiness? Is it because of beautiful scene that you see in sleep, or melodious music that you hear? This fellow is snoring and disturbing others. That is going on there. All sapta swaras it is going on. I have seen some people snore in different swaras only. So it happens. So what music you are, and that all at least he is hearing, okay, that is not hearing. On account of what? Is a delicious dish, that one is no indriyas are in their function, no mind is there, still ananda. It has to be what? Swarupa, ananda. But unfortunately, ignorance is there, we can't know. That's so, is it? Don't think it's a hypothetical theory or something, imagination, etc. Right now, see, look here, Kadara, come on. Let your science prove what is the cause of the happiness in sleep. So, in fact, it is all hubris on the part of scientists to decry whatever that is not available for scientific investigation doesn't exist. It's a childishness, it is. Childishness, mere. And because of the advancement in science and the technological glamour, people also have lost the sense of common. What they say is only that. Where science ends, spirituality starts. That entirely two different fields. No comparison is available. Yes, science is, look here. Olden days also science in their own way that, look here, we had a greatest scientist and all these scientists put together cannot come anywhere near that standard in our Puranas. You know, have you heard Hiranyakashipu? Hiranyakashipu was the greatest scientist in his own way. What do the scientists do? They try to have the mastery over the world for the benefit of the person, is it not? Hiranyakashipu was the one who had all the 5 elements under his control. The earth yields the harvest without cultivation. Rain, whenever all the things are full with water. Wind, always air conditioned. You need not have central air conditioning also. Nothing. Everything at his beck and call. Such a mastery over the nature he had. May not be your laboratory method, but he has his own way. Can any scientific achievement, technological accomplishment come anywhere near this? So that is that. What did he finally achieve? Where did he land? Utter ruin. Why? Only one principle he rejected. What is that? Who is that Narayana? I am the Narayana. Means there is no Paramatma Tattva. So that is what that finally got himself entire disastrous. So that is how it is. So what science is this? Today's science is nowhere. And look here, we boast of so many things. Other day I told, Albert Michelson, what is today he is what? That also is important. Otherwise, if they with these atom bombs, etc., they do something, Albert Einstein was asked by someone, suppose Third World War takes place, what will be the mode of fighting with what bombs, etc.? Because atom bombs has already come, no? He was asked. He thought for a while. He said, he shrugged his shoulder. I don't know. I don't know what will be the means of fighting. But afterwards he said, but if the Fourth World War takes place, certainly it is going to be with the stones only. What does it mean? Idiots losing the common sense will ruin the entire world. All the investigation and science also will be lost. They have to start afresh with the Stone Age. This is the buddhi of our intelligence of our this thing. Common sense is not there. Anyway, so that means like whatever it may be. So that we have said that that is the ananda that is in sleep is what? Swarupa ananda. Unfortunately, in sleep, ignorance is there. We are not able to directly cognize. So that has to be discovered where? In the waking state with the due preparation of the mind. So that being the case, it says that sukham asti iti dhihi, that knowledge, that understanding based on the Shruti, also our observation added with the reasoning. So we have to know in mukti. Don't think mukti means what? After death, going in some heavenly aristocratic colony in the heavens. What? Colony of the muktas. Mukti is not post-mortem. Though Videya Mukti we speak of, it is right now here, that is what is called Swarupena Avasthanam. Abidance of the mind in one's own Swarupa, true nature I, that is Mukti, that is Ananda Swarupa. So that is what is the Mukta Swaswarupena Avasthanam. Abidance of the mind in one's own true nature, that is Atma Swarupa, Chaitanya, the true I, that is what Moksha, Mukti, in that Sukham. What Sukham? Not Vishaya Sukha, not the Anandiness born of the sense object. It is Bhuma Sukha, otherwise called as Brahmananda. So Asti iti dhihi, this knowledge, asyaha kritehi. Of this kriti, what is the kriti? India Sanyamana. So when you are assured that here is the Ananda, will you run after the paltry joys, etc.? No. So that suppose a sumptuous meal is there, and before that somebody gave you ordinary dal roti, will you eat? You are sure that it is going to come. So what is that? So you will keep it aside. Is it not? Why? Stomach should be kept ready to have that one as such. So like that, so Vishaya Sukha, this Sukha Vishaya Bhoga finally leads to Roga. So therefore what? He abstains, that Indriya Sanyamana. Why? The Swarupa itself is Ananda. So what is the guarantee it is Ananda? That's why I said, what is that? Little buddhi has to be used. Our own, the Sushupti, that the deep sleep state. You see? Deep sleep state is such a boon, even otherwise boon only, okay? Even from Vedantic investigation, sleep is the greatest boon. If sleep were not there, Atma Sarupa Nishchaya is very, very difficult. That's why they say, in heaven, Vedanta doesn't work. It seems they don't have sleep at all. Sleep means that embodiment is such that they don't need sleep. Not other way, okay? Not sleeplessness, etc. Not that way. So not a disease as such. That embodiment is designed that way that it doesn't need it. But here, see, my Swarupa is free from Jagat. In sleep you can what? Find out. If Jagat were real, Jagat is false. By sleep you can verify. Because what you mean by Satyam, which has to be all along. In sleep for you, your Jagat is there? No, it is a proof. Reasoning. But directly you have to discover. So therefore it is not a cock and bull thing, that is what you have to believe and then something starts, etc. For Shraddha, there are enough reasons to take to, provided you have got open mind. That is very important. A colored, biased mind will not be able to take to that. So that being the case, says that is that that sukha in mukti, sukha is there. So that is the cause prayojika asyaha kritehi of this kriti means that indriya sanyama. So he says prayojika means karanam. It is the prayojika karanam. Now he says, if that knowledge that in mukti bhuma sukha is there, if that knowledge is there, not there, earlier sadhanas don't gain an edge. They are not that effective at all. So tadvihina means one who is devoid of that type of knowledge. What type of knowledge? That in moksha, sukha, ananda, bhuma sukha, is there one who is devoid of that? So what happens? I am this person. Adyaihi. By earlier means chittaikagram naukarotihi. Adya means earlier means. That was told. Earlier than this. That is what is that? What is that? So manana, this shraddha, nishtha, chittaikagra kriti. By this, now by this chittaikagram nahu karoti. So he is unable to take to indriya sanyamana. So therefore this gives the boost. There is one alternate reading. Instead of tadvihinaha, you see in your book there is avagraha is there. That means I am. Instead of that, tadvihinaha yamadhyaihi is there. Yamadhyaihi. Yamadhyaihi stands for yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, so ashtanga yoga. By that he is unable to have the chitta ekagra. That can be had, but better one is ayam adyaihi, because adya earlier means, because earlier nowhere yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, ashtanga yoga is referred to. So therefore that is not that correct one. It is not wrong, but it is not in the proper in the context as such, because no reference of ashtanga yoga has come. So ayam adyaihi is the better reading. Fine. Now the question is, what is this sukha? In moksha, sukha is there. What is that sukha? Question comes now. That is what? That bhuma sukha is now being elaborated. There in the Shruti, sukham bhagavo vijidnyasi. Narada is ever ready there, okay? Very alert. So he said, what now? What happened? Vijnana has to be gained, for which that is the successive sadhanas are given, and the sadhana begins from where? Sukham. What sukham? The knowledge that in moksha sukha is there, is quick. Bhagavan, I would like to know what that sukha is. So therefore, so he says, sukham bhagavaha vijidnyasi, 7:22:1. So for which now he says, answer is given, yo vai bhuma tat sukham nalpe sukham asti bhumaiva sukham, 7:23:1. Only those who have got, others don't bother about that, because the entire meaning of that is going to come in the stanzas here, Chandogya corresponding mantra. He says, so Narada says, I would like to know what that sukha is. Sant Kumara answer says, yo vai bhuma tat sukham. Whatever that is bhuma, that is sukha. Bhuma literally means limitless. Know this word properly. There are this bhuma, there are two ways the words are there. One is masculine, bhuman. Bhuman is the substantive. Bhuman masculine means Brahma or abundance or plenty. That is what bhuma, bhumanau, bhumanaha. That way it is declined. Bhuman masculine. That is masculine word. Whereas bhuman neuter word, because both words are coming, both in the both sense it is going to come. Bhuman neuter word means earth, territory, district. Bhuma, bhumani, bhumni, bhumani. That is how it is. Neuter is declined. So therefore, bhuman neuter means earth, territory, district, a region. Whereas Bhuman, masculine, is Brahma, abundance, plenty. So, mainly Chandogya here deals with Bhuma is what? Brahma. But in the Anubhuti Prakasha here, that is what Sanat Kumara Vidya Prakasha, Bhuma word as earth, etc. also has come. Better be aware of both the meaning and how the gender makes the difference in the meaning of the word. The question is now, what is this Sukham? Who wants to know? Narada being now answered by who? Sanat Kumara. Sukham kimiti ched bhuma sukham alpetu tannahi.
Sukham kimiti ched bhuma sukham alpetu tannahi.
Klishatyalpadhanonyasmin dhana bahulya darshanat.
Klishatyalpadhanonyasmin dhana bahulya darshanat.
Sukham kim iti chet bhuma sukham, put comma, alpetu tat na hi add asti, alpetu tat na hi asti, anyasmin dhana bahulya darshanat alpadhanaha klishyati. Klishyati alpadhana, klishyati alpadhana. Alpadhanaha klishyati. If the question is Sukham kimiti chet, if you ask what is Sukham, refer to here Muktau Sukham asti, what is that? Iti chet, answer is Bhuma Sukham. Whatever that is, Bhuma. So see, Bhuma, opposite word is what? Alpam. We know Alpam. Alpam is limited. What do you mean by limited? What type of limitations can be possible? Desha Kala Vastu Parichinnata. Space-wise, object-wise, and time-wise. These are the parichinnata. Parichinnata means sorrow. Any limitation, sorrow. So, limitlessness means Ananda. So, therefore, an example will be given in the next second line. Say, so, Sukham, Bhuma, Sukham. If you ask what is Sukha, here refer to Bhuma. So, where it is not there, Alpetu tan nahi, tat stands for Sukham. In Alpa, Parichinna, limited thing, whatever it may be, Sukham na, there is no Ananda at all. How do you say? An illustration is given. Very common, everyone knows that. Anyasmin dhana bahulya darshana. This fellow sees the neighbor, he has amassed the wealth. Multi-billionaire in terms of dollars, okay, not rupees. Multi-billionaire in terms of dollar. And he has got only 50 lakhs rupees. This person, okay, this person has got 50 lakhs. What happens? In Kannada there is a word, Patte Kichu. Pota Sauta. You know, Patte Kichu means what? Kichu means fire. Fire in the stomach. That is what Patte Kichu. Pota Sauta, yeah, that way, sir. So why? That fellow has got more money. I don't have it. Joy or sorrow? He has got what? Lot of wealth. I have got Alpa. Fellow has got 50 lakhs, but Alpa. Why he is comparing with? There is a fellow who doesn't have 50,000 also, but he is happy. You know, who is rich really? Satya Sai has given definition. Who he has got less desire is the richest one, and who has got the maximum desire is the poorest fellow. Our concept of riches is what? Who has got lot of paisa. Is it not? No. Real. These are the things to be known in the world. Otherwise, how are you managing yourself? See, first thing, first manage yourself, then you will be able to manage others. Self-management is the priority to be given. Otherwise, other management is systematized, common sense it is. So what a big deal is that? If you want to know real management, you read Ramayana. How to administer the country, Rama asked Bharata about 50 or 60 questions. When Bharata comes there to take back Rama, etc., because he could not bear the separation, he said, because he is supposed to be the administrator of the country, kingdom as such. Bharata, is it so? Is it not? How is this going on? Is that sickness, etc.? He asks a series of questions. What does it mean? Means you are supposed to do this. He doesn't say do this, do this. He doesn't give lectures there. See, is it not so? Is it not? I hope it is that. I hope your all soldiers are happy. What does it mean? You should keep the army happy, otherwise you will run in trouble. So like this he asks, what that means indirectly how the kingdom has to be managed. Is it something, research has to be done in terms of this formation, not that aping the West management, all this again. So look, it is we can't transplant India into other countries. Their systems of this thing may be useful in that setup, but you can't transplant those things here, because here, as far as our management is concerned, we have to go with our own this thing. They fit in properly. So, of course, whatever that is good from the West certainly has to be taken. So that is not, there is no not that we are the best, not that we are said. But only because it is our from ancient, you just disregard, there is a foolishness. Even that Ramayana, glaring example, which is not at all followed nowadays. That's why so much of unrest. In fact, I asked a top management expert who is heading a great college, and he's on the teaching faculty also. And he is MIT Boston. Such a not ordinary one. And this is a doctorate in management, etc. I simply asked him, you see, you are the one who is producing the managers who are supposed to administer our country in future. This I asked about 2 years back. What solution have you got for the present plight of our country? From politics onwards, all this thing that is going on, not only politically, economically, all this thing. So what low level we have got? Unfortunately, you know what he said? It is a cycle. But it goes up and down. Means what? He has not thought about it. What management? So that is how it is. So therefore, first before that set right the individual he is supposed to manage, then of course that is there. Other things have to be taken into account. So that is what there. So that is alpam, that is bhuma. Alpa, that is what I say, that is the correct. What is that? Maximum desire, the poorest fellow. Least desire, what? He is the richest. But this is not that. Not our jackal story. What is that? Grapes are sour because the fellow could not get. No, that is not desirelessness. That desirelessness must come from contentment, self-sufficiency. That is why the mind has to be composed. If the mind is shanta, you have got self-sufficiency, you will not care to run after the sense object. And when you don't care to run after the sense object, desires are automatically going to get reduced. Don't think our Vedanta is cock and bull story. It is highly practical. With an open mind you have to, that is hope, and you have to assimilate and put in practice. That is important. Otherwise what will happen? Like carrying a prescription. It is not going to remedy the disease. You have to assimilate the medicine, and the medicine has to be the part and parcel of the system. Then only it can cure. So that's what these values have to be assimilated. So, but we are carried away by what? The West. Higher the consumerism, greater the quantum of joy. That is the Western principle. The most dangerous principle it is. The most dangerous one. Sukham kimiti ched bhuma sukham alpe tu tat nahi asti. Therefore it says, anyasmin dhana bahulya darshana. Example is given. Having seen lot of many in the other person, alpa dhanaha, a person who has got lot less money, what happens? Klishati. What? Suffers, feels pain, is afflicted. Not simply bank balance. See, the person who is walking on the road is what? Seeing the other person Maruti car, he says, what? You great person, he has got this thing. But this person who has got Maruti car, when he sees the other one, Honda, so he says what? And other person who has got Honda, who sees the other person having half a dozen of Opal and Hondas, what happens? Klishati. So it is what? Alpe, Klesha is there. So here is what? That is what? Bhuma, limitless was Sukham. Just a common example he has given. Now, still he has not totally defined what is Bhuma and Alpa. So what is Bhuma? Which is Sukha? Alpa, not Sukha. What are these? Are being explained elaborately by first posing the questions. Bhumna sukhatve bhumaka kimalpamiti chet shruno.
Bhumna sukhatve bhumaka kimalpamiti chet shruno.
Jnatridneya jnanahino bhuma vichchedavarjanat.
Jnatridneya jnanahino bhuma vichchedavarjanat.
Bhumnaha sukhatve bhuma kaha alpam kim iti chet shruno. Bhumnaha sukhatve bhuma kaha alpam kim iti chet shruno. Jnatridneya jnanahinaha bhuma. Stop there. Jnatridneya jnanahinaha bhuma. Add yasmat, then continue vichcheda varjanat. Two questions are there. Bhumnaha sukhatve bhuma kaha. Sir, if you say bhuma is bhumna, sixth case. If bhuma is sukha, what is bhuma? Otherwise, he said, what is sukha? Bhuma. You don't know what bhuma is there. And if you ask bhuma, bhuma is soma. What will happen? Where are you going to land? So what is bhuma? Please tell me. So therefore, one thing, alpam kim? Alpe sukham nasti. In limited, you don't say there is no sukha. What is alpam? Iti chet. If your question is answered, it says, this is what bhuma. Be careful now. Jnatridneya jnanahinaha bhuma. So, what is bhuma? Jnatrid jnana jneya jnanahinaha. Where these triple things are not there. These trio, the three forms, what are that? Jnatrid, jnata, knower. Neya, thing to be known, different from me, the knower. Knowledge of a thing different from me. These three are not there. That is what bhuma. Not an ordinary definition, okay? That definition itself needs lot of assimilation. Where me, the knower, perceiver, hearer, seer, etc. is not there. Me, the pramata, the jnata, the knower is with respect to the thing known different from me. That neya is not there. And I perceive, know the thing. These three things, knower, known, knowing, experiencer, experienced, experience or experiencing, heard, hearing, hearing. These three triple form, three akaras are not there. That is what bhuma. Do you know what it can be? Only Chaitanya Swarupa, where me as knower also is not there. Me as knower, when it comes? When you are identified with the body. See, in waking, me the pramata, the jnata, knower is there. In dream, me identified with the dream body, knower, jnata, pramata is there. In sleep, pramata is not there. Why? No identification of the body. But bhuma is not sleep. Be careful, okay? Acha. In sleep also what is not there? Jnata, jnana, neya are not there, but sleep cannot be bhuma. Why? You are totally ignorant of everything, including yourself. Not the sleep, other than that, in waking state, that state wherein knower jnata, known jneya, and jnana, the actual knowledge of the jneya, these three are not there, means it is only the abidance of the mind in the Chaitanya Swarupa, free from all that is falsely superimposed on that. So that is Jnatra Jnana Jneya Jnana Hinaha Bhuma. So that is what is told there in the Shruti as Yatra na anyat pashyati na anyad vijanati sa bhuma. The state of knowledge wherein other than me, the Chaitanya Rupa Atma, nothing else is seen. Other than me, the Chaitanya Rupa Atma, nothing else is heard. Mind heard for all perception. Mind is absorbed in Chaitanya Swarupa Atma in its true nature. That is what? Bhuma. Means Sarvyapi Chaitanya Brahma is Bhuma. How do you say so? Because Vichcheda Varjana. In that state, Vichcheda, these divisions, what are those? Desha, Kala, Vastu, Triputi, Jnata, Jneya, Jnana. All these divisions are not there. Only Chaitanya Swarupa can be what? The Bhuma. Then what is Alpam? The state wherein the one sees other, one hears other, one he experiences something other than that. So that is what is called as what? Alpam. That is what told in that. Here, for Bhuma, yatra nanyat pashyati, nanyat vijanati, that yatra means jnana kali, vidya avasthayam. Vidya means Atma Vidya, Brahma Vidya. In the state of Atma Jnana, Brahma Jnana, one who doesn't see anything other than oneself, one who doesn't know other than oneself, means one who doesn't cognize anything other than Atma Swarupa Chaitanya. Whereas, what is that Alpa? Yatra anyat pashyati. Yatra means avidya kali, in the state of ignorance, what we do. So, anyat pashyati, sees something other than oneself. Anyat shrunoti, hears other than oneself. Anyat vijanati, knows other than oneself, means cognizes something other than oneself. Tad alpam, that is alpam, is told now. Jnatra jnana jneya rupam maya karyamidam jagat.
Jnatra jnana jneya rupam maya karyamidam jagat.
Bahu vichcheda yuktatvad alpamityabhidhiyate.
Bahu vichcheda yuktatvad alpamityabhidhiyate.
Idam jnatra jnana jneya rupam maya karyam jagat. Bahu vichcheda yuktatvat alpam it abhidhiyate. Second line as it is. Idam, this, what is that? Jagat. This Jagat. This entire creation. What type of creation it is? Jnatra jnana jneya rupam maya karyam. It is the karya effect of what? Maya. Creative power of Ishvara. And available has what? Jnata, knower. Jneya, known, knowing. Means the entire word that we perceive fits in what category? Alpam. It is parichya. Why? Bahu vichcheda yuktatva. Many vichchedas, limitations like desha, kala, vastu, jnata, jneya, jnana. This jnana is knowledge of a specific thing, distinct from other knowledge. So, vichcheda yuktatva, alpam iti abhidhiyati. It is called as what? Alpa. So, what is Bhuma? Limitless. Chaitanya Swarupa, where no divisions are there. Chaitanya and Chaitanya alone, my Swarupa is there, nothing other than that. And entire, that is Bhuma, entire Jagat, where nothing but Parichinnata, limitations, Triputi and Deshakala Vastu, that is what? Alpam. Okay, now he says that Bhuma is what? The Moksha Swarupa. Alpa is Bandha Swarupa. Let us see. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayanta Nyayena Margena Mahim Maheshaha Go Brahmanebhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanya Prithivi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Kshobarahita Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kasyid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti